doubleheader on Fox with a shootout. Got a pretty good feeling we could have another here as Oklahoma gets ready to take on Texas Tech from Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock. Now we say welcome inside. Joe Davis with Brady Quinn. Bruce Feldman joins us in just a moment. Now, if offense is your thing, this is the spot. Both these teams averaging more than 40 points per game. Let's start off with Oklahoma, Brady. They've won 3 in a row now. And that winning streak corresponds with a ridiculous stretch from their quarterback, Baker Mayfield, hooking up with D.D. Westbrook.
Yeah, they've been looking for someone to step up on the outside all year long, and D.D. Westbrook has been that guy. And it's in part because Baker Mayfield has played better from the pocket. He's been more patient. He's given it time. He's worked through his progressions, and that's allowed D.D. Westbrook to get open downfield. And D.D. Westbrook finally healthy. He had a nagging hamstring injury. But look, it's not just about the passing game with Oklahoma, Joe. It's about the running game, too.
But the thing is, no Samaje Perine this week. He's out with an injury, and that means Joe Mixon is set to shoulder more of the load.
Yeah, the Oklahoma coaches have taken Mixon off of some special teams. He's going to have to carry more of the load. And look, he's one of the most versatile running backs in the country. He does such a good job running the football, but also catching it out of the backfield, and even splitting out as a wide receiver and catching the football at times. And he had a career high in yards last year versus Texas Tech. So look, the Red Raiders know that they're in for a big challenge tonight.
How do they keep up? That's the question. They got a pretty good guy pulling the trigger, and their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he's been a little bit banged up. That right shoulder, throwing shoulder, has been bothering him. He hasn't been practicing consistently. That led to a somewhat disappointing performance last week versus West Virginia, but don't be fooled. He feels healthier this week, and he is one of the most prolific passers in college football.
All right, time to get it down to the third member of our crew. We say hello to Bruce Feldman.
Hey, Joe, I visited with Baker Mayfield earlier this year, and he said, you know what, I really don't have the hard feelings with Cliff Kingsbury or any of my old teammates. I really respect how they've done things, and I also respect that they came and voted on my behalf so I would get the extra year of eligibility from the Big 12. Now, the fans, I know they hate me. He kind of likes that part of it. He said that's what makes rivalries special. He's heard some really nasty chants about him already here today, too, by the way.
Yeah, it didn't take long for that crowd to get revved up with Baker Mayfield down there. There's his head coach. The longest tenured coach in the country now, one school. Bob Stoops in his 18th season. Hired back in 1999, trying to get his team's 10th consecutive conference win. On the other sideline, 37-year-old Cliff Kingsbury, the second youngest Power Conference head coach. Only Matt Campbell over at Iowa State, younger in the Power Fives. And Texas Tech trying to get its first win over a ranked opponent in 3 years. You have to go back to the 2013 Holiday Bowl win over Arizona State to find their last win against a ranked team. 24th meeting. Oklahoma's won 4 in a row. And overall this season, after the 1-2 start, they've won 3 straight, trying to remain unbeaten at the top of the Big 12. Oklahoma won the toss, elected to receive. Michael Jones goes back with D.D. Westbrook. Off we go from Lubbock. And Westbrook to take a touchback. Oklahoma to begin at the 25-yard line. This run-heavy spread offense. Top 20 in the country, scoring 40 points per game. It'll just be Joe Mixon, who's out there to begin the game with Mayfield. And facing a Texas Tech defense allowing 40 points per game. That's 5th most in the country. Straight downhill they go with Mixon, who's hit in the backfield by Flourished and driven down to the ground by Zach Barnes. It's a loss of a yard, 2nd down, 11.
And this is exactly what the Texas Tech defense needs from Flourished, Pimpkins. They need help up front. Those guys are going to have to be the anchors of the defense and stop this Oklahoma running game.
Gave up 7 yards per carry in the loss against West Virginia last week. Mayfield's first throw goes outside to A.D. Miller. Brought down by Justice Nelson and a gain of 7. And on Oklahoma's first drive, it's 3rd and 4.
And the biggest question is whether or not Texas Tech's defense is going to pressure Baker Mayfield. They've struggled all year long getting off the field on 3rd down, but they've got to try something different. Defensive coordinator David Gibbs has to try to find a way of putting more pressure on Baker Mayfield and maybe forcing a turnover.
On 3rd and 4, they rush only 4. So Mayfield has time to go underneath, and it's D.D. Westbrook making a cut for a first down. Coming off the best 3-game streak for a receiver in Oklahoma history. More than 500 yards and 8 touchdowns as you give us what we're watching for.
Yeah, but it starts with the running game, and really Joe Mixon is going to be shouldering the load tonight. Samaje Perine out. Everything's built off the play-action pass, and that's what helps open up D.D. Westbrook downfield.
For his first catch of the day to convert a 3rd down. And from the 44, they fake to Mixon. Mayfield throws on the move, incomplete. Paul Banks Jr. with the coverage on A.D. Miller.
Baker Mayfield, we talked about his progression in the 2nd year in Lincoln Riley's system. And so much more patient, staying in the pocket. They haven't taken as many negative plays. At this point last year, he had been sacked 20 times. This year, only 11. So he's improved, and that's helped not having as many negative plays and then moving the chains down the field.
Offense coming off a great game against Kansas State, put up 38 on a team that had been really good defensively. On 2nd and 10, Mayfield with a deep drop. Eyes downfield. There's Mixon. He will take it. Touchdown, Oklahoma from 56 yards.
Well, we talked about this in the open. This is what makes Joe Mixon so special, is his versatility, his ability to be able to get out of the backfield, and he's basically going to beat right here. Jashawn Johnson in one-on-one coverage. Baker Mayfield again. He's patient enough in the pocket to allow Mixon time to get open downfield.
And so it takes him just 1:37 to find the end zone. Seibert's extra point is no good. Joe Mixon on the long throw from Baker Mayfield, and the Sooners off to a great start. Texas Tech's offense takes it. When you come back. 2nd touchdown catch of the season for Joe Mixon, and Oklahoma's in the end zone in less than 2 minutes for the 18th time this season with that quick strike offense. Cliff Kingsbury's team behind early, coming off of that 48-17 loss against West Virginia last week. Cliff Kingsbury said the worst that he's seen in his time associated with Texas Tech, and that obviously goes back to his time as a quarterback here.
And look, being an alum and a bunch of the coaches on his staff are alum, they take a lot of pride. It's not just about getting a paycheck. They take pride in how this team performs.
Here's Reggie Davis, who can really fly, bringing it back from the 3. And he's hemmed in by Jordan Parker with a flag down around the 40-yard line. So what are we watching for when Texas Tech has it, Brady? Number 5 in the country, scoring close to 50 per game.
That man right there, Jonathan Giles, leads the Pac-12. And really, Texas Tech was looking for someone to step up after Jakeem Grant went off to the NFL. And the guy who's really going to be responsible for trying to break up some of those pass plays, putting pressure on Mahomes, is Obo Arankwo. Leads the Big 12 in sacks right now. He's been fantastic.
Patrick Mahomes, the nation's leading passer, to throw on first down. Plenty of time against only a 3-man rush. And a man comes open late. That's Cameron Batson for a gain of 8. Now Mahomes, in his 3rd season with time as a starter, sprained his shoulder a few weeks ago and his missed practice time. Cliff Kingsbury thought that caught up to him last week.
Yeah, there were some things earlier in this season they wanted to work on, playing more from the pocket and sticking with the system, and kind of got away from that last week. He practiced more this week, and so far it seems like he's trying to stick with his reads and progressions, not just run outside the pocket when he can.
Flips it outside to DeLeon Ward, the true freshman, making his first career start, lowering the shoulder to the 49 and a gain of 14.
DeLeon Ward, the true freshman from Skyline High School there in Dallas. They talked about his 4.4 speed and really looking for a spark in that backfield. They've had no running game, and it's not just on the running backs or the personnel. It's also on the offensive line. They've had a bunch of moving parts. Justin Murphy was ejected last week. He's going to be out for the first half of this week's game.
There's a targeting call last week in the 2nd half of that game against West Virginia. Mahomes in the quick game underneath. There's Giles, who coughs it up. And Oklahoma's got it. That's been one of the things that this team's been good at. Only the 2nd fumble this year for Texas Tech. And Jordan Evans recovers for the Sooners.
Yeah, I think it was Emmanuel Beal who was able to knock this out. You can see he puts his helmet right on the forearm of the ball carrier. And I can tell you, as a former player, that hurts. Your immediate reaction is not to clinch onto the ball. It's actually to give it up. So a good play by Beal. That's exactly how they teach you to try to get the ball out when tackling. Again, this defense for Oklahoma, they haven't been as good as they were a year ago, but obviously a good start for the opportunistic team, because when they get turnovers, their offense takes care of the rest.
That is only the 6th takeaway this year for Oklahoma's defense. Came into the game in the bottom 10 nationally at generating them. They get one in the first drive. Baker Mayfield comes back out. They just got that play off quickly in the hands of Mixon. A 56-yard touchdown on the first drive and a first down on the first play of this one.
Yeah, you can see what the game plan is right now. Obviously, they're featuring Joe Mixon. The other two people we've talked about, Dede Westbrook, and then it's Mark Andrews. But that's in the red zone of third down. They're going to target number 81. He's about the size of a tight end, even though they list him as really a wide receiver.
Mixon again. This time he's hemmed in, gets 2, and it's 2nd and 8. Colin Hill there with Keyshawn Allen. The helmet came off Eric Wren, the center, and unless that was the product of a penalty, he should have to come out of the game. There he goes. So that's interesting to note for this play, a new center.
What I'd imagine to be Alex Dalton, number 63. No,
Jonathan Alvarez.
And he's got experience.
Yep. Perfect snap. Mayfield sets. Heaving one long. It's Westbrook again. Touchdown, Oklahoma. 49 yards. His 9th touchdown in the last 13 quarters.
And there's not a whole lot to this. This is just one-on-one, man-to-man coverage right here. This is the matchup. And Dede Westbrook just beats Polite Bray in a foot race. Baker Mayfield does a good job putting enough air on the football to allow Dede Westbrook to run to it. And that's about as easy as it gets.
Some kind of stretch for number 11. In the end zone again. This time Seibert nails it. First drive lasted less than 2 minutes. This drive lasts less than 1. A 49-yard touchdown to Dede Westbrook. Baker Mayfield making the return to where he began his college career, and it's been an impressive one so far. 5 of 6 for 136 and a pair of touchdowns. Oklahoma trying to get its 4th consecutive win, trying to get its 11th consecutive conference win, dating back to the Texas loss last year. Seibert to send it away. Reggie Davis bringing it out of the end zone with a hesitation to the 2, and it cost him. Poor field position for Texas Tech as we go down to Bruce.
Hey, Joe, as you guys said earlier, Cliff Kingsbury is so embarrassed by what his team looked like last week. He's determined to shake up everything. Change the practice schedules, change the lifting schedules. David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator, said a big thing for them. They started out and ran 20 running plays at the start of every practice, everything to stoke up the physicality from his team.
Yeah, that's one of the tough things for your defense sometimes when you're having one of these up-tempo, air raid offenses. You don't get to see the running plays much throughout training camp when you're working against your ones-on-ones.
Lofting one. Cameron Batson got behind the defense for a first down. The pickup of 29, beating Will Johnson to convert 3rd and long.
Batson's one of those guys, just like Jonathan Giles, a former quarterback in high school. And they just seem to have a good feel for the offense and the zone windows and all of that.
On the slant, it opens up. Tony Brown, only his 4th catch of the season. A guy they had high hopes for, but has gotten off to a slow start. And he goes for 18 and a Texas Tech first down.
And one of those guys they really had high hopes for coming in. Big recruits they were able to sign on the outside, and he's going to have to step up. He's one of their bigger wide receivers, so when they get down in the red zone, they might try to take some chances to him.
No Cantrell today, no Willies. Those are the 2 biggest normal receivers for Texas Tech. This time they bring 5. Mahomes over the middle. It's Giles. Coughed it up the first time that he had it. Here he holds on for a gain of 6. And Okoronkwo stops him. 2nd and 4.
And from talking to the Texas Tech staff, they said Jonathan Giles is the guy we trust the most. That's why we put him at our Y position. He's on the inside. If there's pressure, he's the guy that sees it. He runs the right route. And Patrick Mahomes knows that he can get it to him. He's the most sure-handed guy, and he runs the most precise routes. That's why he's always open.
Comes out on 2nd and 4. Oklahoma bringing pressure. They swing it outside to Sadler. Got a block in front. Stiff-armed his way for a first down before he was slammed down by Thomas. Sadler had his best game last week. Needed to step up again today. Another throw, and Reggie Davis steps away from a tackle and takes it inside the 5. Jordan Parker, the true freshman at corner, fanned on him. And they spot him down at the 3.
We talked about that lack of size they have on the outside with Cantrell being out and Willie's being out. Well, now you have quicker, fast twitch wide receivers. Get him the ball, let him try to make a move and get upfield.
First run play of the day for Texas Tech. And Jordan Evans, their leading tackler, shuts it down. All kinds of white shirts around him. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Some extracurriculars going on down there. Hostile environment, night game. It's a blackout here. Jones AT&T Stadium.
Things tend to get weird. Night games in Lubbock.
Well, this is the big question now is how do you go about trying to get into the end zone? We talked about the lack of size on the outside as we're watching Jonathan Giles come back into the game. He's the guy I'm targeting.
DeLeon Ward straight ahead for a touchdown. It's the first of his career.
We talked about this offensive line for Texas Tech and the moving parts. Watch the right side. You've got Madison Okuwamano as well as Balin Brown. Both guys did a tremendous job of helping to open up that hole. I think the Oklahoma defense was caught off guard, probably thinking that maybe they're going to utilize one of their matchups on the outside and throw the football in the end zone.
How about DeLeon Ward, though? Got his first career carries in mop-up duty last week. They liked how he ran. And so they started him tonight, but the plan was to redshirt this kid. They needed him on special teams, so they activated him a few weeks ago. Now he's the star running back. He's got a touchdown.
Normally on these kickoff returns, you might see Joe Mixon. Not anymore. Not with Samaje Perine out. It's D.D. Westbrook back in his place.
Yeah, and he will take a knee. Play action. Mayfield a deep drop. Under pressure. Able to get away. Scrambling some more. Keeps his eyes downfield and finds Andrews and turns a disaster into a gain of 9. Said he developed that scrambling ability while he was running the scout team a couple of years ago.
Well, and this was what makes Baker Mayfield so special. Nothing downfield. He somehow gets out of the sack and buys time and eventually finds Mark Andrews. He takes what would have been a negative play into a positive. That's why this offense is working so efficient this year. It's Baker Mayfield. He understands when to make plays like this and when to just give up on a play, throw the football away. As we take a look at Mark Andrews getting banged up at the end of that play.
2nd and 1. Mixon. First down. Career high 19 carries last week. When Perine going out of that game early. You get another look at Andrews. As their second leading receiver. And it's not even close as far as the distribution. You were talking about how it's been mostly Westbrook and then Mixon and Perine, but Perine not in there this week. Andrews second on the team, and he's only got 17 catches. Mayfield to throw deep again. A.D. Miller goes up and gets it, but then it's jarred out at the last moment by Paul Banks.
A.D. Miller is a guy who stepped up at times for them so far this year. Look, credit Paul Banks. He never gave up on the play. He keeps a hand around the shoulder pad, is able to disrupt Miller for making the completion of the catch. Tech very fortunate that Miller wasn't able to bring this in.
Almost another long touchdown. Already touchdown throws of 56 and 49. Mixon making cuts into the arms of Jenkins. He got 7 or 8 to make it a 3rd and short.
That's the toughest thing about Joe Mixon. His ability to run through tackles. You know, he's listed at 225 pounds. We were down talking to the coaching staff on the field, and I looked, I said, Joe Mixon looks a lot bigger. He goes, yeah, he's listed at 225. He's probably more 250.
250.
Guy's a load to try to bring down, and he's so athletic.
Right, moves like he's 200.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Texas Tech has been unable to get off of the field on 3rd down so far. Mixon pressured in the backfield and dropped this time. Penetration coming from Jenkins. He lost 2 when it's 4th and 5.
Well, we talked about the big boys up front. Pipkins, Fehoko, the defensive tackles. Look at the wall this defense creates. They don't allow to get pushed around, and there's Malik Jenkins. He's there to bottle up Joe Mixon and get the stop and force the Oklahoma team to punt. David Gibbs has to be ecstatic about this.
Thought about it for a while, Bob Stoops did, but then brought the punt team out. Cameron Batson waits back on this Seibert boot. It's a short one. And a fair catch at the 15. Wanted a flag for kick catch interference, but won't get it. From the 15 on 2nd down, here's Devin Lauderdale, who can really fly. Gain of 16 to the 31 for a guy that's got more than 100 catches in his Texas Tech career.
And this is really just an extension of the run game. It's this quick, short passing game where Texas Tech is able to make moves in space and get upfield for the 1st down.
So Mark Andrews heading to the locker room. 1st down from the 32. Mahomes finds another open man. This time it's Sample. His 2nd grab, and it goes for 15. Texas Tech has things cooking.
Down 13-0, but this team's never out of it because of their offense and because of these wide receivers and Patrick Mahomes.
On 3rd and 10. Mahomes over the middle. It's a 1st down to Giles with a block from QT. Turns the corner to the 20. 32 yards, and Mahomes and the Red Raiders stay perfect on 3rd down.
Well, this is what makes Jonathan Giles so special. Watch him come right in this window. He's got such a good feel for where the holes are in a defense, and that's because it goes back to his days playing quarterback. He's seen it from Mahomes' vantage point, so he knows what exactly Patrick wants out of his routes and where he should be at the right time.
That's so much success here at Texas Tech, converting guys, quarterbacks, to that Y position. Mahomes pumps, scans, dumps. Reggie Davis gets back to penalty yard. 2nd down.
As the Texas Tech offense gets down into the red zone, the biggest key for them is going to be coming away with touchdowns, not field goals. Look at on the other side of the field, the Oklahoma offense is prolific, and the way the Texas Tech defense has played this year, they can't afford to not come away with touchdowns and be able to get 6 points.
Third down and 9. Converted all 4 3rd downs today. Oklahoma brings only 4, so Mahomes with time to zip one incomplete behind Reggie Davis. And it's 4th down.
Well, Ahmad Thomas was in the middle of the field. He was bearing down on Reggie Davis. I think Mahomes might have felt it a little bit and put this ball behind. Still a catchable ball. If you're Reggie Davis, you've got to find a way of bringing that in.
Yeah.
Just outside the framework of his body, but he can still get 2 hands on that. And really, Mahomes in that case is probably protecting him from running right into Ahmad Thomas and facing a big hit.
And so Clayton Hatfield, who is perfect in his career from inside of 40 yards. And he hooks it in to stay that way. 15 of 15 from inside 40. Oklahoma scored the first 13. 10 in a row for Texas Tech back in 30 seconds. Texas. 24th time these programs have met up. Oklahoma's won 4 in a row in this series. Baker Mayfield making his return here to Lubbock, where he started his career as a walk-on. I think everybody involved intimately, so Mayfield and the Texas Tech staff all kind of agreed that it's overblown by guys like us, that everybody's moved on. In Mayfield's case, he's in a great spot. Texas Tech doing just fine as well, with Mahomes running the show. Big hole for Mixon off the right side. And an open field tackle made by DJ Polite-Bray. Well, Mixon could have been off and running. Oklahoma got off to a rousing start with a pair of long touchdown throws from Baker Mayfield. One to Joe Mixon, one to D.D. Westbrook. It was 13-0 in a heartbeat. But Texas Tech has scored 10 in a row. So 1st and 15 from the 46. Mixon into the short side with a seam, and Joe Mixon, a first down and more. Exploding, reaching, in for the Oklahoma touchdown. A 46-yarder, his second of the day.
Joe Mixon had 156 yards a year ago versus Texas Tech. And look at this hole that's created by the Oklahoma offensive line. That's really been the key for this team. They've been winning on both sides of the ball up front, their D-line and their O-line. That's been the difference after the first 3 games where they started off 1-2. Once they've gotten to the Big 12, they've been winning the battle up front and creating big holes just like that for Pirine and for Mixon.
He had a 56-yard touchdown catch to start the game. Now he's got a 46-yard touchdown run behind that offensive line. Lincoln Riley's got to love it. Texas Tech once again down 2 scores. Buddy Holly Park here in Lubbock. We're now inside Jones AT&T Stadium, where Oklahoma has opened up a 20-10 lead. She's still having a good time, though. Austin Seibert on to kick it off. Reggie Davis waiting back.
Kicking off for the Sooners, number 43, Austin Seibert. And leading receiver for the Red Raiders, number 2, Reginald Davis.
And a line drive kick bounces into the end zone. Again, they rush only 4. Still able to flush him from the pocket. Mahomes retreating. So strong. Stays on his feet. Heaving one downfield for a first down. When he's in trouble, he goes to his roommate, Ian Sadler. First down, Texas Tech.
I mean, what can you say? How can you stop that? He's able to get out of the sack and still keep his eyes downfield to get the conversion.
Quickly back on the ball with a fake, and he rolls, has to be out of breath at this point. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
And this is that fine line of when to give up on a play or when to stay in the pocket. But really, there was nothing open downfield. Mahomes gets outside. And you can see, look at his eyes. They're still downfield. Even with the guy hanging around his hip, he's still looking to keep the play alive. And there is sure-handed Ian Sadler to make the catch.
Fakes the quarterback draw. Now he goes over the middle for Mason Reed. Who is this guy?
That's what I'm still trying to figure out. I haven't seen him on film all year long. But again, this was a week where Cliff Kingsbury was looking for some guys to step up on their team. Guys that would come in, not have any excuses. And so far, Reed's been one of those guys who stepped up.
You mentioned it. His career stats included a special teams tackle entering this week. Today's got 2 catches for 28 yards. Deleon Ward off the left side. Gets 3, 2nd and 7. Silver lining for Oklahoma in this case is that if you could pick any team to face with a depleted defensive line, this is probably it. Number 1 passing offense in the country. Go to the bottom 5 as far as running the ball. 2nd and 7. Mahomes pulls, has a block from Reed, has a Texas Tech touchdown.
Well, this is what you're capable of doing in the running game when you've got a quarterback who's athletic like Patrick Mahomes. And watch Mason Reed as he comes across the formation. See number 29? He gets just enough of Ovo, then he climbs up on Jordan Thomas, and that's just enough to allow Patrick Mahomes a lane into the end zone.
Would have been nice to know about that guy, huh? Nobody could have slipped us a little note. Hey, look out for 29. It's not played all year, but it's going to be important today. Couple of catches, and now a key block to get Mahomes in. Another long touchdown drive for Texas Tech. Back to within 3. Beautiful night in Lubbock, huh? This is about as good as it gets for football weather. Temperature dropping down around 70 for kickoff. A little bit breezy, but that died down some as the game got going. It's Michael Jones. Got the cell phones out. Or are those not cell phones? Are those something else?
No cell phones.
Cell phones, all right. Wow, everybody's got them going. Kick buried into the end zone. Drive beginning at the 25 for Baker Mayfield and the Sooners. He'll look to throw. Wants to go downfield. Instead, checks it down for a first down to Dimitri Flowers, who's been a big part of this offense's success at the fullback position.
He doesn't get too many bones thrown his way, but that time he was split outside as a wide receiver, and he wasn't the first option, but Baker Mayfield was confident enough that he would eventually get open, waited on him, and found the completion.
Here comes Mixon, patient running. Got around one man. Stiff arms Deshaun Johnson. This is a man's run by Joe Mixon. Inside the 40. Reverse field. A stiff arm and 25 yards.
250 pounds, and look at that vicious stiff arm on Deshaun Johnson. And as he made his way down the field, Paul Banks, the cornerback, he stayed in the back pedal. He really didn't want anything to do with Joe Mixon as he headed his way.
You think of that kind of punishing running, you think Samaje Perine. You don't necessarily associate Mixon with that bruising style. First down from the 38. Fake to Adams, throw the slant. Mark Andrews first down. You saw Andrews go back to the locker room earlier. Good sign for Oklahoma fans that he's back.
And that's what we call cause and effect. You see the big run, so now that play action pass fake is that much more meaningful, and it opens up wide receivers in the back end.
Mixon downhill for 3.
And that's one of the toughest things when you're talking about defense nowadays in college football is you're going to give up yards. You talk to any defensive coordinator, they just tell you it's too tough to stop these offenses for picking up yards and big plays. It's the red zone that's the key. Forcing them to kick field goals and not get touchdowns, and that's really where Texas Tech has struggled.
Second and goal. Fake to Mixon. Open is Andrews. And it is broken up by Polite Bray. Couldn't quite get it off in time. Andrews was open initially, but Polite Bray was able to recover, and it's 3rd and goal.
Good play action, fake, misdirection, and that's why Mark Andrews gets so wide open. He beat Polite Bray off the ball. Fortunately, though, Polite Bray was able to get a hand back in to disrupt the completion. Baker Mayfield couldn't really get his feet set to put any more zip on that. Otherwise, it probably would have been a touchdown.
So now 3rd and goal. Texas Tech bringing pressure. Mayfield into the end zone. It's incomplete. Tipped by Keenan Ward. And it's 4th down.
Well, he was trying to work to number 11, D.D. Westbrook. David Gibbs, the defensive coordinator, he dialed up some pressure off of this left side edge. And there was Keenan Ward. He follows the eyes of Baker Mayfield, and he was able to get a hand up on the ball. Not his injured hand, something he's been dealing with all season long, but his good hand. And a big stop for the Texas Tech defense.
A pretty dangerous throw. That thing fluttered up there. Here's Seibert. Missed an extra point earlier. And nails this one from 23. Well, look at the sideline to see if Texas Tech considers that a victory.
Looking for some sort of response. This team is playing more inspired. There's a big time difference in the way the defense is moving around and even the offense. These guys are fired up. They understand what's at stake.
Yeah, they thought they laid down against West Virginia in that 48-17 loss last week. A four-man rush has him flushed. QT! What a play! QT hangs on, and they convert 3rd and 20 with a gain of 25.
The sophomore out of Lufkin, Texas. He has continued to get better and better and better. You heard Eric Morris, offensive coordinator, talk about him, the progress that he's made, and they just continue to keep feeling like they can rely on him.
Going deep again. This one over-adjusted now in front of Lauderdale.
Yeah, I mean, look, you'd like to give your wide receiver a chance, you know, because now you're sitting here in 2nd and 10, and instead of maybe possibly having a play where Lauderdale could come back to the football and maybe draw a pass interference. So, again, that's kind of the catch-22 that you're in as a quarterback, right? You give him a chance that allows the defensive player to maybe come into play and get an interception, but there's obviously a possibility of making a big play or getting the advantage of a pass interference call.
2nd down and 10. 4 receivers into the wide side. Mahomes rolling that way. Zipping one into a tight window for QT. What a night he's having. And that's even with the 75-yard touchdown wiped away by a penalty.
Well, they're utilizing the holes in the middle of the field, and they're finding them right in between the linebackers, Emmanuel Beal, number 14, and number 26, Jordan Evans.
43 seconds left first half. Mahomes dropping, throwing towards the end zone. What a snag! Jonathan Giles, there's your signal. Touchdown, Texas Tech.
With his fingertips, as Patrick Mahomes works up in the pocket, doesn't necessarily get it that high, but literally by his fingertips, Jonathan Giles is able to corral this football in for the touchdown. Does he secure possession as he goes to the ground? Yes, he does.
And that took as long to get a signal as I think about any touchdown I've seen. I think they would have been in disbelief that he was able to hold on to it. And now an extra point from Clayton Hatfield. And after trailing the entire first half, Texas Tech has taken the lead. Well, how do you convince a guy like Jonathan Giles to move to receive him? A really successful quarterback, but they did it. You can see why.
Because they've had so much success in the past doing that before. You talk to Cliff Kingsbury or Eric Morris, and they just say, look, man, as much as we throw the football and as smart as you are, you could fit right into this situation like a Danny Amendola or a Wes Welker, other guys who have played slot in this Texas Tech system before.
Like the coordinator, Eric Morris, so he can even vouch for it.
And always keep in mind, the clock stops in college football after a first down, so you do have plenty of time if you work efficiently once you get that first down and get up to the line of scrimmage and get set.
On the 25-yard line, fake to Mixon. Wants to go deep and has D.D. Westbrook inside the 25. How do you leave that man that open? 55 yards, but he's slow to get up.
And that's, again, this matchup they're working and utilizing. It's number 3, DJ Polite-Bray, one-on-one right here. And Baker Mayfield's going to roll away from this, and he's going to throw back across the field.
27 seconds left in this first half. Oklahoma trying to answer back, trailing for the first time today. Mayfield sets, end zone, Basquin perfectly thrown. Oklahoma strikes back. A 23-yard score for Basquin.
Joe, that was the same exact play. It was just switched. Literally, they ran the same play 2 times in a row, just from different strengths of formation. One's from the right, one's from the left.
They went 75 yards in 20 seconds. Seibert missed his first one today. He's been good since. And Oklahoma, in the blink of an eye, goes back in front. Texas Tech behind Patrick Mahomes, 375 yards, trying to get its first win over a ranked opponent in 3 years.
407 total yards, though. I mean, that is ridiculous in one half. I mean, could you imagine him getting 800 total yards of offense tonight?
Let's go down to Bruce.
Bob, wild last 2 minutes of that first half. What did Baker's minute touchdown drive there do for you guys to get momentum going in?
It gives you a spark coming in, you know, at halftime for sure for the whole team. We just got to do a better job with third downs on defense. We've had our hands on him, can't finish the sack. He scrambles away, and he's picked up his third downs. We got to do a better job covering him.
What more can you do? 375 yards for him. It seems like you guys gotten a lot of pressure. Is it just simply tackling him?
Well, a few times it's tackling him. You know, you get your hands on him. He's a big guy, he works away. And then other times we just got to do a better job on third downs with our coverage.
All right, thanks, Bob. Back to you guys.
Yeah, Bruce, that's a key right there. Texas Tech 9 of 12 on third down against Coach Stoops' team. Now we get you to Los Angeles for the State Farm halftime show. Pretty much what we expected in that first half. A lot of offense. Oklahoma with that quick scoring drive after Texas Tech had taken its first lead of the game to retake the lead going into the break. We get you set for this second half. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Bruce Feldman again in a moment. To start off with what Oklahoma did, Joe Mixon getting his fair share today with Pirine out, and he's been huge.
Yeah, he's been huge. I mean, 10 yards per carry so far, and the offensive line has done a good job opening holes, but he's just been brutal. Look at the stiff arm. He's so strong once he gets to the second level. Really tough to bring down, and he's got the top end speed as well. And really what happens is once you have the running game going like this, Baker Mayfield and the rest of the Oklahoma offense utilizes the play action pass game that's been big for them. And then it's been Patrick Mahomes. And it's been him creating, buying time while still keeping his eyes downfield and being able to see the big plays downfield. On third down in particular, they were 9 of 12. Then for the touchdowns, I mean, it's been all Mahomes and his ability to make plays. 400 total yards, a couple touchdowns as well for Mahomes on the night. He's their leading rusher. He's been everything for this Texas Tech team.
Our Verizon first half stats, more than 800 yards of offense combined. And we've still got a half to play in the 24th meeting between Oklahoma and Texas Tech. And the Red Raiders just started the 25. We go down to Bruce Feldman, who talked to their head coach.
Yeah, Joe, Cliff Kingsbury was actually pretty fired up about his team's performance because the turnovers hurt us, but Pat Mahomes is locked in. And so what was the other message to your team? He said, just enjoy this. This is why you guys came here.
How about that message?
I mean, and that's the truth, right? Look at Pipkins, a guy who came from Michigan, from the Big Ten. School that's really accustomed to playing some of those big matchups. That's part of the reason why he came to Texas Tech. You get matchups like this, Oklahoma, a night game, a blackout. Who wouldn't be fired up for this sort of atmosphere?
So here we go with the second half. Texas Tech starting from the 25, and wouldn't you know, an empty set. They bring pressure. Mahomes throws low, incomplete. Wanted Giles, the Big 12's leading receiver, led the way in the first half with 5 catches for 77. Mahomes has now thrown it 47 times.
And we mentioned that he's the leading rusher right now for Texas Tech. They just haven't been able to find anyone to replace DeAndre Washington, moving on to the NFL. 2 years in a row, he was a 1,000-yard rusher the past 2 seasons.
QT coming in motion. He's got it. QT slipped out of a tackle and got 5 or 6. It's third down.
And that counts as a pass attempt.
Yeah.
not a rush, even though essentially is an extension of the run game. But it helps them get within third and manageable, something that they really struggled to be in the first half, even though they had a high conversion rate with the Texas Tech offense. Now, they're still rushing over 100 yards a game, but a dramatic difference from the years past when DeAndre Washington was in the backfield.
Daylion Ward started this play in the backfield. He motions out. And on third down and 4, it's incomplete, nearly intercepted. Stephen Parker already has 1 pick today. Got his hands on a ball intended for Batson. And a 3-and-out for Texas Tech to open half number 2.
Yeah, too high, too hot, just off target. I mean, he had Batson on the inside on a slant route. Unfortunately, just a little too much on it. You got to put it more on the body of the frame of Batson, and he's tiny. He's not an easy target to hit across the middle. He's only 5'9", 180 pounds, but had some space there.
Good sign there for Oklahoma fans. Westbrook limped off of the field late in the first half. He's back to return this punt from Michael Barton. Fair catch from Westbrook. And Oklahoma to begin at the 31-yard line. 1st and 5. Abdul Adams comes in to take the fake. And Mahomes with a timing route to the outside for Dahu Green. Only his 2nd catch of the season. And if you're used to watching Oklahoma and seeing him in 18, he's wearing 2 today because there were 2 number 18s on the same special teams unit. Curtis Bolton the other. So they switch him to 2 so they can both stay on that group. They bring 5. It's picked up on the slant. It's Westbrook again for another Oklahoma touchdown. His 2nd of the day, his 10th over the last 4 games.
I mean, you just can't cover the guy one-on-one. I mean, look, he's working on Paul Banks. You see the cushion Banks is giving him, and he just beats him out of the break with speed, and he's strong enough to work through the tackle. I mean, that's just simple football. There's not really even much for Baker Mayfield to read. That's what happens when you can run the football effectively.
What a swing in momentum it's been. It was 24-23 Texas Tech with a few seconds left in the first half. Sooners scored 75 yards in 2 plays, and then they score quickly to open the second. And Baker Mayfield now 4 touchdowns in his return to Texas Tech.
A little easier to be over on that sideline when things are going well. I'm sure when the game was a little bit tighter, those fans had some stuff to say, and it's not fun when you got to take your helmet off and hear some of that stuff from time to time.
Couple of those 4 touchdowns to D.D. Westbrook. And for more on him, down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, D.D. Westbrook's emergence really in the past month has been the story of the Sooners season. His position coach, Dennis Simmons, who spent a decade here at Tech, said, "We never had a receiver with wheels like D.D. Westbrook. He had the quickness of Sterling Shepard, but just go the distance speed. But he was slowed by a hamstring pull early in the season. And for the first couple of weeks, people just didn't see it on film. And so now that he's healthy after the bye week they got into Texas, he has been torching DBs ever since."
From Blinn Community College, where Cam Newton went, Michael Bishop at Kansas State in the NFL, and Kyrie Robinson, other running back. So we've got some prominent alum coming from Blinn Community College.
Texas Tech back to work. Mahomes dumps it off. Guess who? Mason Reed. First 3 catches of his career tonight. 3 catches for over 40 yards.
You say guess who, and I wouldn't have guessed it would have been Mason Reed. But the thing I love about it was Patrick Mahomes realized he didn't have time, and he dumped it down. We haven't seen that a lot tonight. He's going to have to start doing it.
Pressure coming from Jordan Evans, and he finds another window for a long 3rd down conversion. Jonathan Giles. Texas Tech is 6 of 6 on 3rd down and 7 or longer.
This is bizarre right now. Texas Tech, a big completion. They're subbing out offensive linemen. The subbed out offensive lineman was Paul Stewart. So clearly trying to set the tone that they're not going to put up with him continuing to get penalties and make mistakes.
Fake to Ward. Quickly throw. Here's Giles. Down the sideline inside the 35 with a gain of 7. 2nd and 3.
Wasn't a big gain, but a big block by a small guy in Cameron Batson. Watch the hit that he lays on Will Johnson. Never sees it coming. That's 100% legal.
I said 3. They actually only gave him 5. Stepping out at the 33, so 2nd and 5 for Texas Tech. But they drop it into Reggie Davis for a touchdown. On 2nd and 25, over the top for the score. And they're calling trainers over. We're good to see Davis to his feet.
Well, he didn't have a ton of room. Took him up the tunnel. One-on-one. Working on the true freshman, Jordan Parker. Reggie Davis, he's just got too much speed in a perfectly thrown ball by Patrick Mahomes. Enough trajectory on the football to drop it in with enough air to the outside so the defender couldn't make a play on the football. And Going to be looking to see if Reggie Davis caught the football and got a foot in. He maintains control and possession as he goes up through the tunnel almost halfway to the locker room. But what a big play after coming off of, at least in my mind, based on what Mike Pereira, how he stated it. I mean, he didn't even really make a block or play on Will Johnson. So I don't know. It was a little bit of a ticky-tack foul in my opinion.
Extra point good. Back and forth we go in this one. Reggie Davis getting behind the freshman Parker, and Texas Tech back to within a touchdown. We're going to be back to Lubbock, back to within a touchdown game. Reggie Davis, first touchdown of the season. The guy that had 15 touchdowns over his first 3 years. It had been a quiet start to this year for him. But on a perfectly thrown ball from Mahomes, he has Texas Tech back to within 6. And a touchback. They hope. Oklahoma starts at the 25-yard line. Mixon swings out. Mayfield tucks it. Goes the other way. And runs out of bounds after 4.
Just a brilliant play design by offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley.
In front of the 2nd and 7 play where they fake the mix in and have an open basket at midfield for a first down, Bruce.
Yeah, Joe. So OU sidelined him actually for the 2014 season. It was a really ugly incident that for many folks has defined Mixon. Sooner coaches, though, say Mixon's actually one of the last guys they'd have expected to be involved in an incident like that. Earlier this week, Bob Stoops told us that Mixon brings positive energy every day and has actually become one of the most popular guys on their team.
He's in the backfield on first down from the 48. He's got it. And he's got a gain of 5. He was already charged with a misdemeanor. There's now an ongoing lawsuit that's been filed by the victim. And the latest news is that the victim has withdrawn a previous intervention to keep the video of that incident from being released. It still never was released publicly. But that's the latest news in an ongoing civil case. 2nd and 5 for Oklahoma from the Texas Tech 43. Mixon swings out, opens up a window for D.D. Westbrook, but couldn't get a foot down. And Oklahoma's looking at 3rd and 5.
This ball is just too high, too hard. Fortunately for D.D. Westbrook, he couldn't get really a foot down inbounds. Close. You can see Baker Mayfield will take that cushion and take that one-on-one matchup all night. He'll do a better job of his timing routes to the outside.
Mixon is left alone out of the backfield, and with a one-handed reception, he stays on his feet and scores again. 43 yards. Magic Mixon.
And this, to me, is just a mental error. We've seen Oklahoma utilize Mixon out of the backfield, but Gary Moore was the guy who was responsible for him. But look at the one-handed catch. I mean,
like
what more can you say about him? Looks like it was up there on a platter, and he just brings it down. But why? How do you put a defensive end in one-on-one coverage on Mixon anyways?
All 3 of his touchdowns have gone for more than 40 yards. And Oklahoma back in front by 2 scores. So casual about it, too. I'll take that. I'll take 6 more. Like defense, cover your eyes.
It's been offensive dominance, and you can see, look at the lack of balance there for Texas Tech. 476 yards passing. That's kind of the norm, though. They average about 510 yards passing a game. That's #1 in the country, and it's not even close when you look at who's 2. Louisiana Tech's 2, and they're, what, 120 yards a game behind them?
And Texas Tech is on pace to raise that average, which already sits at 511 a game. Batson's lined up in the backfield here for a trick play. And they've got it open. Sadler crossing the field. First down into Oklahoma territory. Handed it to Batson. Flipped it back to Mahomes, who hit Sadler.
It's like playing hot potato. They're pitching the ball all around, and it's really just to get the Oklahoma defense to slow down. They don't know where the ball's going, and all of a sudden Eden Sadler's running wide open across the field for the first down in the big game.
And why make Batson the guy there? Well, Batson's one of those converted quarterbacks. Mahomes rolling, steps away from one man, and will cut it upfield and get back a chunk. DJ Ward pressured him out of there, but he runs for a dozen.
Look how nifty Patrick Mahomes is. He gets outside the pocket. You see Austin Roberts trying to go after him, but he just switches the ball to his left hand like it's nothing. Keeps his eyes downfield. Look, he wasn't able to find anything, but he picks up a positive gain and keeps them moving.
2nd and 16. 4 receivers into the wide side of the field. Mahomes looking that way. Lofting one down there, and it's incomplete. Again, had one-on-one. QT against Parker, but nowhere close.
As I'm sitting here looking at the Texas Tech wide receivers, they're starting to look a little bit gassed. And we've still got plenty of time left in this game, but look at how many plays Texas Tech has run so far. 78 plays. I mean, they average somewhere in the 80s, but I mean, we got plenty of time left to play.
3rd and long, just for Texas Tech, is most comfortable today. Play clock down to 5. Mahomes back to throw. Has time. Now scrambling. Heaving one into the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown. Giles came back around 2 defenders for a score from 44.
I can only imagine the conversation Cliff Kingsbury is having with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, this is just street ball. You'll see Jonathan Giles right here. He's going to find his way to the other corner of the end zone. 2 guys on him, and he just goes and makes a play on the football better than anyone in the secondary of Oklahoma. I mean, if you're Mike Stoops, you got to be pulling your hair out up in the press box.
Mahomes had his nameplate ripped off there, too. I don't think you need a nameplate for folks around here to know who he is. You know what Cliff Kingsbury doesn't like is when Patrick Mahomes reverts to what he calls street ball. But what he has to love is those times when Patrick Mahomes reverts to street ball and it turns out like that.
Well, I think on 3rd and 20 you do, or whatever the situation was. I mean, they've been living in 3rd and long and still somehow had a high conversion rate. And it's been in part because Mahomes has continued to buy time and create, and the wide receivers have come up with big catches.
610 yards of offense for Texas Tech, 601 for Oklahoma. And we still have 20 minutes of football. D.D. Westbrook on the return, shy of the 25. Mixon. 2nd and 7. They spotted him well short of where he finished. 2nd down and more like 8 or 9.
What's gone unnoticed is how efficient Baker Mayfield's been. And it's in part because he's been just running the system, playing from the pocket, making throws. And it's not as flashy as what Patrick Mahomes has done, but he's had himself a heck of a night as well.
Fake to Mixon this time. Over the middle for a first down. That's the Penn State transfer, Geno Lewis, for a pickup of 17.
Tackle made by number 17, Tyrion Hill.
From the 43, Mixon into the short side of the field. Colin Hill, a Notre Dame transfer. Transfers from big-time programs putting their stamp on this stretch.
He's one of the guys they've kind of leaned on up front as far as one of those edge players. He's got to be stout in the run, but also still agile and quick enough on the edge to be able to affect passers. Only has 1 sack on the season, though.
Only 6'2", 250, undersized. I love how hard he plays, though. Mayfield rolls. Has Lewis open again. Back-to-back receptions for him. And an Oklahoma first down. up to the 41. For a guy that had some really good numbers early on in his career at Penn State, and then kind of fell out of favor his last season there and transferred in to finish his career this year.
You know, we talked to Lincoln Riley. He said, you know, he's starting to feel more and more comfortable with their scheme and what they're doing. He's been a solid blocker all year long, and there's no doubt that he's one of the more physical wide receivers they have on their team.
Mixon straight ahead. Hit the hole hard. Got 7 or 8. Pipkins the tackle. 2nd and short.
I mean, Mixon isn't even getting touched until he's about 6 yards downfield. And credit to the Oklahoma offensive line. They've started to kind of dominate now the line of scrimmage and some of that push. You can see Bobby Evans, the right tackle, was laying right next to Mixon on the ground. That's how far he was pushing his defender downfield.
This line is going to be a monster in time. 3 sophomores and a freshman up there.
Started 3 games now together as far as the group with the positions that they're at currently tonight.
Continuity huge for them. 2nd down and 2. Mayfield a deep drop. All kinds of time from that O-line. But the coverage downfield makes him scramble. And throw for Flowers, who adjusts with a flag. He caught it. Touchdown, Oklahoma. The fullback, Dimitri Flowers, from 35 yards.
Pass interference by number 38 of the defense. Penalties declined. Touchdown.
Well, then there's one example of how special Baker Mayfield is when he can buy time running around. He had all time. Their offensive line did a good job giving him time in the pocket, and then it was able to extend the play, and he goes to one of the most unlikely guys. Dimitri Flowers, a guy who coming into the game didn't even have a rush for the Oklahoma offense. And see Keyshawn Allen clearly just trying to get back at the hip of Dimitri Flowers to even make a play on the football. I don't think he even thought it was going to him.
Yeah. 6 of his 14 career catches have been touchdowns now, Dimitri Flowers. That one looked a little different than you normally expect from a fullback.
Usually he's getting the ball out of the flat or off of a boot, and it's somewhere around the goal line or short yardage. It's not
going up
30 yards downfield.
Fighting through PI. Still a minute 36 in the 3rd. Seibert's done a nice job of burying that thing in there. 3rd down 7. This time it's Shorts. And a 1st down for Texas Tech. They've still not been stopped today on 3rd and 7 or longer.
You've got to think, though, at some point it's going to come back to bite them. I mean, that's just the percentages. It's kind of working right now in a vacuum, but over the course of this game, at some point, that's going to hurt them.
1st down from the 39. Quickly to Batson, 1-on-1, comes inside, finds Austin Roberts there to rip him down.
And that's what they need to do more of. You know, Kansas State utilized a lot of those quick passes to the outside to their wide receivers last week when we were able to get a good amount of yards on 1st and 2nd down because the Oklahoma secondary plays so soft out there. I mean, it's just an easy pitch and catch, a high percentage throw.
Same thing here. And Parker is giving about 10 yards down to the near side of the screen. Similar cushion up top. Lauderdale takes advantage for a 1st down.
And you look at a guy like Devin Lauderdale, he's fast enough where he makes one move, and if Jordan Thomas misses, he's up the sideline for a touchdown. You could probably make the case for Reggie Davis as well, and Kiki Cutesy. I mean, any of these guys, once they get open in space, they are extremely tough to be able to bring down to the ground.
Final seconds of this 3rd quarter. Mahomes back to throw. Pressure from his backside. Floats one up there. DeLeon Ward can't run under it. And that's how this quarter comes to a close. What in the wide world of offense does the 4th quarter have in store for us? Start the 4th quarter with a 2nd and 10 for Texas Tech. Oklahoma shows pressure and brings it. Swing it out to QT. Good tackle by Thomas in space. Season high in tackles for him. 3rd down and 6.
They're probably wishing that QT maybe would have got 1 less yard. They've been so good at 3rd and 7
Yeah,
plus.
right. Yeah, and I was wrong.
There we go. This is right in their wheelhouse then. And again, 2-score game, probably 4-down territory depending on the game. But look at the cushion on the outside.
Now 3rd and 7. Mahomes is pressured, finds a seam to take off for a 1st down.
You just can't win. You rush 3, you drop 8, he finds a seam and then runs to pick up the 1st down. You try to pressure him, he gets the ball out of his hand quick, and all of a sudden one of these speedy wide receivers is able to beat one of your defensive backs for a big play or 1st down.
Best he's looked since that shoulder injury a few weeks ago. He's not practiced a ton the last few weeks, although this week more practice than at any point since the injury. Said he was feeling as good as at any point since the injury. They float one, and Saber's got a 1st down. Doesn't matter what either one of these teams does right now, they're moving it.
And this is the perfect description of a passer. He's not a thrower. He uses touch in the ability to drop the football in behind the defensive coverage. I can't tell you how hard that is to do.
And it was with Justin Stockton in the game as a decoy swinging out. He stays in there, number 4. And outside again, it's Sadler. And a block from Shorts. And then Oklahoma rallied defensively to help Capri Doucette get the tackle. 2nd down.
Nice play by Doucette. He's kind of had to have a good game. Him and Will Johnson, those guys have been working in and out. Come out that almost nickel Sam position. And they've been asked to do a lot. They've got a tough task of playing in space, trying to bring down wide receivers who are a lot of times quicker than you are.
Mahomes zips one incomplete. He's now thrown 73 passes, which is a new Texas Tech record, and that's saying something around here.
Well, he's got a baseball background. It's almost like pitching. What, 9 innings, something like that? So he's working that pitch count up there. But I mean, that's the style that Texas Tech has really played all season long on offense. It's been heavily based upon his arm, and he's got to convert here on 3rd down.
Breaking Graham Harrell's record, which was set in an upset win against Oklahoma back in 2007. On 3rd and 8, speed option. Mahomes trying to get outside, and with a fake pitch, Mahomes has 6.
He can throw so effective, but then he runs the speed option. Look, there's no one outside, and Mahomes with the pitch fake, but really what he did well was he stretched the defense to force the Oklahoma defender to then take the running back, which allowed the seam and really the free run to the end zone.
591 through the air for him. And now nearing 70 yards rushing. Make that 75. 685 total for Texas Tech to go along with Oklahoma's 677. Still 12:57 of this madness. 51-45 Oklahoma as they fasten up that knee brace on Mahomes. He dealt with that injury in previous years, and he has put this team on his back tonight, has them within 6. Got the cell phones out again. And somehow Baker Mayfield's gotten overshadowed because of what Patrick Mahomes has done. But Mayfield, Brady, 21 of 29, 455, 6 touchdowns to match a single game record, and he's not turned it over.
Yeah, he's been incredible, and he's really playing the type of style that Lincoln Riley wants him to do, playing within the pocket, going through his reads and his progressions. But it's a part because Joe Mixon has made it easy for Baker Mayfield tonight. He's been so explosive in the backfield, averaging 9 yards a touch. So it's opened up a lot of things, I think, for him in the back end.
It's Mixon. Slips his way through initial contact and gets 3. And we were talking about redefining success. How many times has David Gibbs said to us, I just want my team to have a shot in the final minutes. He knows that an offense like Oklahoma is going to put up points, but can they do enough to keep their team in the game?
Well, as fast as both teams play, too, one of the concerns is just getting lined up. I mean, half the time it's like, I just want them to be in the right position so every play we have a chance.
Oklahoma's moved over 700 yards of offense. Second down, 7. Mayfield a strong arm strike. D.D. Westbrook stop and start. First down inside the 35 and down to the 30. Another huge night for Westbrook, who adds 26 more to his total. Now 190 for Westbrook.
Yeah, and that's something you just can't do. If you're Justice Nelson, you can't miss this tackle. You got to find a way of utilizing the sidelines to get D.D. Westbrook out of bounds and can't allow a big gain.
Mayfield changes the play on first down. It's a fake to Mixon. Going short side. Flag flies in from the secondary as Westbrook has another reception, this time tackled by Nelson. See if he pushed off to get that separation.
Holding an eligible receiver by the defense. The penalties declined. First down.
Nope, it's on Texas Tech and decline.
But Baker Mayfield scanned the left side of the field, didn't see anything. He came back around to D.D. Westbrook, running a comeback route, had enough time, and so we'll put the ball in the money for the first down.
Best 4-game stretch for a wide receiver in Oklahoma history. D.D. Westbrook over 200 again. Mixon. Texas Tech doing a better job against the Oklahoma run lately. Second down, 7. Michael and Thomas credit for the tackle. Career high 194 for Mixon. David Gibbs is trying to come up with some way to get off of the field, or at least limit Oklahoma to a field goal. On second and 7. They swing it out to Mixon. In space. Mixon cuts it back and spins in for another OU touchdown. This one from 15. A new school record for Baker Mayfield with 7 touchdowns tonight.
So David Gibbs and Texas Tech, they bring pressure again. Off the edge, you see Jashawn Johnson, and really it ends up being number 12, Zach Barnes. He's the one that busts this play. He was responsible for Joe Mixon in coverage. He's the widest guy. You should have went with him and not allowed that reception. But good throw by Baker Mayfield, trying to find a way and get a window to throw the ball to Joe Mixon, and big play. So we now watch Oklahoma go for 2.
Try and make this a 14-point game. Try to make up for the missed extra point on their first touchdown an eternity ago. They swing it to Westbrook. He's got the corner and he's got 2 more. And so the lead is 14 for Oklahoma. Out of those 7 touchdown passes for Mayfield, 3 of them to Mixon, who's got 4 total on a career night. 59-45 Oklahoma. Nobody stopping anybody in the second half, especially. Reggie Davis goes back to return yet another kick. It's a short one. Davis will have a chance. Got 1 block. Unable to get the edge. Angled out by Parker. Pat Mahomes in this offense, 685 yards today. Stands calmly and throws incomplete. DeLeon Ward crossing the field. 42 of 74. Those 74 attempts, a school record. He needs now 7 completions to match the single game completions record held by his head coach, Cliff Kingsbury.
92 plays so far in this game. We play Texas next week. Imagine the staff having to break down 100 and some plays by the end of this.
A little bit different style than they saw today against K-State. Able to get home with only 4, but he steps away from Beal and throws back against the grain for QT. 3rd down and 2.
It's hard to appreciate how strong and really how big Patrick Mahomes is. I mean, that's the hard thing. You look at Beal, was able to get an arm on him, but you got to get 2 around him. I mean, he's just too strong. His lower body is big and thick and stronger than you think, but here's the thing, he's throwing across the body is like a cardinal no-no. But, I mean, look, he still finds a way of doing it, completing it, and what can you say at the end of the day?
Yard short of 600 now. 3rd down and 2. Gone to the run in some short yardage situations in this second half, and they do again for a 1st down and then some. DeLeon Ward, first career start for the true freshman tonight. He goes for 13. 30 yards total for him now.
Similar system to what he ran in high school under head coach Derek Robertson at Skyline.
Mahomes, good field in the pocket, lofting one, downfield, and again he's missed an open man deep. This time Giles with Thomas in coverage. As many yards as he has, as many tremendous, amazing plays as he's made, there have been a lot of missed opportunities down the field.
Left some out there, and I think the hardest thing as a quarterback, when you're scrambling up in the pocket, you're bringing some momentum with you, so it's a little bit harder to be as accurate throwing the ball down the field because you got to put a little more air on it, take a little bit off, because your momentum of your body running with the throw carries it that much more.
On 2nd and 10. Off his back foot this time. QT's all alone. It's a Texas Tech touchdown. This time he connected from 56. This game is bonkers.
I mean, what do you say? Kiki QT motions down into a stack. That puts Jordan Thomas in outside leverage position. And if I'm Jordan Thomas, I'm just getting into a track sprint because that's all Texas Tech is doing is they're stretching the field vertically. And they're basically saying, our guys are faster than your guys. See if you can cover us.
And so in this storied passing history of Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes 6 yards short of a school record for a single game. 6:55 for Pat Mahomes. Oklahoma with a 59-52 lead. Both teams have exactly 762 yards of offense, and we've still got a little ways to go here. I mean, this is crazy.
It's an unbelievable offensive performance. You could kind of shake it the other way and say, well, each defense is really struggling right now, but that's just where we are in the common day of college football, and both quarterbacks have played exceptional. I think you look at Texas Tech and what Patrick Mahomes has done. He's the leading rusher, and he's really put this team on his back right now. They've got to get a stop out of their defense.
Mayfield rolls, looking back against the green, and it's incomplete. Nearly intercepted by Deshaun Johnson. 2nd and 10.
And that's one of the other key things that has been missing for the Texas Tech defense, turnovers. We're going to see Yahoo Green coming across. Deshaun Johnson backpedals into the window. He couldn't get 2 hands on the football. Mayfield playing with fire.
Mixon, that's a strike and a 1st down to Geno Lewis to quiet the crowd in a gain of 16.
We talked about the percentage of production that Westbrook and Mixon and Andrews were at halftime. 85% of the offensive yards came from those three players, but it's been Lewis, it's been Green, it's been other pieces of their offense that have really stepped up in the second half in key situations.
Oklahoma's over 800 yards of offense now on the 46-yard line. Quickly outside, Michael Jones, the true freshman, clipped down by Keyshawn Allen. Baker Mayfield, 26 of 35, 545 yards, and a school record 7 touchdowns in his return to the place where he began his college career. Mixon, big hole, Joe Mixon, goodbye. Touchdown, Oklahoma. This one from 42 is 5th of the day.
That was just another example of the Texas Tech defense putting all the bodies down around the line of scrimmage. There's no one in the back end as far as the last line of defense. So once Joe Mixon gets through the line of scrimmage, it's just green grass, green turf, whatever you want to call it. Another big night, another big run for Joe Mixon versus this Texas Tech defense. Saw it a year ago. Set another career record for himself tonight.
251. Oklahoma now within 25 yards of a school record for a single game. 8:52 tonight. 6 consecutive touchdown drives for Oklahoma, dating back to the second quarter. 852 yards of offense. The school record for Oklahoma is 875. They racked that up on a 1-10 Colorado team back in 1980. Reggie Davis from the 1. A flag down. Davis down at the 15. By the way, these two teams have combined to set a Big 12 record for a single game. More than 1,600 yards. But Mahomes 23 yards away from Connor Halliday's record, 751. He set against Cal October 14th or October 4th, 2014. Mahomes has 728. And 4:55 left. I think he's going to get it.
He's got almost the length of the field to go, so there's no doubt it's going to be on his arm and his shoulder to carry the weight for this team.
The 8-yard line, Justin Stockton is in there. He'll take the fake. Mahomes setting in his own end zone. Throws a first down. Jonathan Giles to the 25 on a gain of 18. So he's 5 yards short of the NCAA record.
Giles has been a little bit quiet in the second half, so you got to credit the Oklahoma defense. Made some adjustments at halftime to try to limit his success catching the football. But once again, Mahomes finds the open window to Giles in the middle of the field.
Trying to track down the NCAA record for total yards in a game. He's got the Tech record for passing yards in a game. And he adds to it with QT. And now he most certainly does have the NCAA record for total yards in a game. Patrick Mahomes. The spot where that nameplate belongs is where he's put his team tonight. Down 2 scores, 4:15 and counting. Backpedaling, under pressure, gets rid of it. On the sideline, it's incomplete. Diving attempt from Lauderdale, 2nd and 10.
The guy who's been really quiet tonight and really hasn't had too big of an impact or effect on this game is number 31, Obo Okoronkwo. Last 3 games had 4 sacks. He's been pestering quarterbacks all year long. But Mahomes and Texas Tech, guys up front, they've done a good job of trying to limit him.
It's almost like the crowd is just totally gassed. A little flat in here right now. Texas Tech down 2 touchdowns. Mahomes scanning, stepping up, taking off, then sliding down, crossing midfield. It'll be 3rd down and short. They'll spot him where he began that slide, so 3rd and 3.
Yeah, and look, what you're seeing right now is Oklahoma kind of in, not a prevent, but they're only rushing 3. They're basically saying, yeah, go ahead and try to go get a score because your defense can't stop our offense, and we're up by 2 scores. So they'll take Patrick Mahomes scrambling and pick up the 1st down as long as it takes some extra time off the clock.
It's Mahomes on a run-pass option, somehow sneaks it into Sadler for a 1st down.
It's been that kind of night. I mean, it's almost like the ball is just finding the wide receivers once it leaves his hand.
From the 45. Clock winding inside of 3.5. Mahomes has one-on-one on the outside, takes advantage. Another 1st down. Juan Shorts. These teams, by the way, have combined to set the NCAA all-time record for yards in a game. And I try to tell you exactly what it is right now, but why bother? Because it's going to change on this play. A deep drop, another throw, another 1st down. Cameron Batson at the 20. Even Parker tackles him. 3 minutes to go.
Patrick Mahomes has number 13, Cameron Batson.
Mahomes is 49 of 83 for 719. Rolling. Throwing it away.
If there was a question about how his shoulder felt, I mean, after this performance with all the attempts, I can't imagine it's hurting him or feeling that bad. And he practiced more this week, and look at that, 800 total yards tonight. Team that's really struggled to run the football. He's leading, their leading rusher tonight, and again, it's been that season for Patrick Mahomes. He's been everything to this team.
Record-setting night all around. Like every play, we're giving you a new one. Mahomes retreating and lofting it to the sideline. Did he get his feet in? He did. Batson spot him 3 yards short.
It's just crazy to me the transition that Batson and Jonathan Giles has made as former quarterbacks. I mean, I would imagine they have good hands and good feel for routes and timing and all that, but just their body control, that's something that you don't get a lot of practice of at a quarterback. And around the sidelines, they do a nice job of controlling their body to get their feet in bounds.
His 51st completion of the night is a 1st down to Giles. 51 completions, 2:26 to go.
They're still in a good position, too, with 3 timeouts. If they can get a score here, you would imagine that they'd try to do an onside kick. Maybe they would decide just to kick it and utilize the timeouts if they could stop Oklahoma.
Mahomes rolling. He's got room to run if he wants to. Capri Doucette drags him out of bounds. Yeah, crowd seeing some extracurricular over there, but no flag with 2:04 left.
It looked like it might have been close to a horse collar.
Yeah.
Doucette put his arm on the, I guess, nameplate again, or lack thereof. He got ripped off once, and probably would have got ripped off there.
Inside of 2 minutes now. On 2nd and goal with all 3 timeouts. Mahomes will look to throw again. Scanning the end zone. Incomplete. Lauderdale defended by Thomas. The field shrinking here, and it's 3rd down and goal.
Yeah, and this is the part where, unless they bring pressure, the way they're playing, they're doubling the inside guys, the inside wide receivers for Texas Tech. So it'd be a good time to try to run the football, even though that's not your strength. But we've seen Patrick Mahomes do it tonight, so he can easily be a part of that.
The 180th play of this game is a 3rd and goal from the 3. End zone, blown coverage, touchdown, Texas Tech still breathing. Cameron Batson brings them back to within a touchdown with 1:38.
We've heard this verbiage a couple times. There's Cameron Batson. He's going to kind of hesitate, and then he's really just going to lose everyone in coverage. What they do a good job of is they end up kind of taking away the coverage by 2 guys going one way and Batson going the other. And he's going to hold for the extra point.
And it's a 7-point game as Mahomes has tied the NCAA record for passing yards in a game now with 7:34. Back for an onside kick. Well, 3 timeouts, but there's no way they can kick it deep here.
No, I mean, their defense hasn't really been able to stop the Oklahoma offense here in the second half. So they've got to figure out some way of doing an onside kick. That's what they're lining up to do. Although it sounds like from at least what Bruce Feldman told us on the sidelines that, you know, Clayton Hatfield was looking at doing a middle onside kick, something where he actually kicks it right up the hash from where it is now and recovers it. Maybe he does some sort of variation.
Here we go. Onside kick, Hatfield, and it skips its way right into the hands of Jarvis Baxter. Now, the fact that they have 3 timeouts means that that doesn't necessarily seal the deal.
Yeah, never got that big hop, really. That's what you're looking for out of any onside kick. It just stayed low to the ground.
It's Mixon. And it will be 2nd down and 5. Here comes the first Texas Tech timeout. The box loaded up. Mixon surging. 2 yards shy. 3rd and 2.
Something to keep in mind around these piles. The offensive line can push Mixon to help assist him in going forward, but they cannot pull him. Something the officials will be looking for as now in a 3rd and short scenario, and most assured that they're going to be handing the ball off once again to Joe Mixon as we take a look at all the records tonight. Seems like every game we've had this year, there's been some record broken.
Yeah. 3rd down and 2. And they're ready to snap it directly to him. He waits for the blocks to develop and seals the deal with a 1st down to the 35. Texas Tech will use its final timeout, but Oklahoma can now run this clock out. Oklahoma is going to win its 4th in a row after that 1-2 start. This will be their 11th consecutive Big 12 win.
We just saw Lincoln Riley a moment ago. If you wonder why these young men, whether it's Cliff Kingsbury or Lincoln Riley and Graham Harrell, who's now an offensive coordinator at North Texas, former quarterback at Texas Tech, these guys continue to keep moving on and getting head jobs because no one can stop these offenses. They just have defensive coordinators in a tizzy trying to figure out how to limit some of the production. Because as much as you want to say, well, Texas Tech's defense could stop Oklahoma, Oklahoma's defense really couldn't stop Texas Tech either.
No. Both teams, and this is perfect, both teams finished with exactly 854 yards, setting an NCAA record with 1,708 yards combined.
I mean, just PlayStation stats. That's the sort of thing that you expect maybe when a game goes into overtime because of the rules and get more touchdowns and extended game, extended playing time, but just ridiculous.
Back to Lubbock in a moment.